He's a professor of political history and diplomacy at Curtin University. Professor, it's good to see you today. Now, looking at the demographics of Utah, I'm assuming, and it's only an assumption, that parents there aren't too unhappy with this new law.
Good morning. Well, they may not be unhappy with the law. The trouble is, I don't know if it's going to have much effect. Keep in mind now, this is the first state, I believe, to try to to rein in the social media's ability to reach the kids and the kids to reach the social media. But keep in mind that American children, and by the way, what is a child? 10, 12, 14, 18, the UN says 21. I mean, we're talking about minors. And in my lifetime, which has been a long lifetime, minors have been able to get their hands on, let's see, guns, alcohol, tobacco, medical procedures. They don't really need their parents. There's a lot of walkarounds here. And what this legislation really signals is two things. It suggests that American lawmakers are at wit's end about what to do. I mean, social media is like the atomic energy. The genie's out of the bottle. So what do you do now? I mean, it's very, very hard to do anything. And the other thing too is this: there is a mood in America to put the onus of social media and guns and everything else on the parents. While we're on air here, I mean, in Michigan, they've just indicted the parents of a kid who shot some people, saying that they should have been able to keep the gun out of his hands. So that's what they're doing in Utah. What they're saying is it's really up to the parents to control their children. Now, this is pretty desperate because and children don't always want to listen to their parents. We know from the ancient Greeks of the present time that there will be generational differences here. So in a way, it's kind of a desperate piece of legislation. I don't think it's going to have the desired effect, but it does show that the wind is changing in America, and now they're going to start to blame the parents for the kids.
Right, and there's a possible ban on TikTok, as we know. It's being discussed at Congress. Do you think more and more states will put similar laws into effect?
Oh yeah, I think California will come along, plus some of the conservative states in the American South and Southwest. There's not going to be any problem getting enough people on side. But we had a constitutional amendment to ban the manufacture and sale of alcohol. That didn't work out very well. We can't keep people from getting these things. I mean, we're quite desperate. And to tell you the truth, I watched the guy from TikTok today and his congressional appearance, and I thought most of the questions are quite ignorant, because he's not in control of some of those things, and some of the other things they're quite in control. I mean, the fact is that these algorithms are able to find out things and get your dopamines going. Everybody gets hooked on it. Everybody's hooked on something. You just have to use it in moderation. Right. And I think this idea that kids can't use this thing between certain hours, and then that they have to produce their age and things like that. I mean, in fact, the legislation is asking the parents and the kids to cough up more private information than TikTok or Instagram or anybody's ever going to get. So in a way, they're at cross purposes. And finally here, there are children who are in abused circumstances. There are people who need help from self-harm or sexual orientation. Who are they going to call? I mean, are they going to have to have their parents' permission to call somebody? And of course, once the parents are in on this, they get all the messages. They get to see what their kids have been doing. And look, that's just not on.
Okay, Joe Siracusa, thank you so much for joining us here on the NewsHour and sharing that with us.